Hello and welcome back to another one of Sean's Auto Repairs videos. In this video today we have a 2005 Peugeot 407 and the customer brought it in with a rattling and knocking noise from the front, and when they got out they handed me a piece of metal and they said this is what we found on our driveway. So let's have a look, see what it is. Alright, this is the offending bit of metal. Let's get some light on it. There we go, I think we all know what that is. That is a coil spring end, where the end of the coil spring snapped off, and she said it come from the near side front. So let's go and have a look and see what we can see. Alright, here we are down by the wheel. You can't really see a lot, it is a bit low. Let's see if we can zoom in there. Can we see anything in there? Oh, we can see the spring, can't really see whether it's broken there. Let's go and have a look at the other side. Oh, it's even darker on this side. It is a bit higher. No, we're not going to be able to see anything from that side. Right, let's check the vehicle up and have a look. Right, so here we are under the wheel arch, and as we can see, the coil spring is supposed to sit on this cup here. It has come down, it has wound itself around the strut, and it ends up, oh, the back of it is down there. So it's broken the bottom coil off. There's the top coil. Right, so the approach is going to be, what we need to do, because there's no room behind the strut to get the shaft, to get the shock absorber out, what we need to do is to take the hub nut off and press the shaft in so it frees the shaft up. We'll need to take all these wires and brackets off the arm here. We need to disconnect the track rod, and we'll disconnect the anti-roll bar link down here, and we'll also disconnect the lower arm of this bolt here, which will allow us to pull this arm backwards to give us more room behind the shock absorber. Then the lower shock absorber mount is held on, as I said before, by this bolt here, so we'll take that out and that will come out complete with this arm, the link. And then what we need to do is to go up top and see what's under the bonnet. Right, so under the bonnet we need to get under here, because the three mounting bolts to hold the shock's top mount to the body is under here. So we'll need to take the wiper off, take all this plastic off to get under there. So let's start at the bottom. Right, so first of all what we're going to do is take the nut off of that, free that up, take that arm off there, and take all these brackets off of here to get rid of all this mess. So I'll be back in a moment. Right, that's the first step done. To do this you're going to need like an extended range of sockets and spanners, because there's some odd sizes. Like the hub nut is 35mm. This is not a bit of an odd size, it's not 32, 34, 36, it's a 35. The bolt that holds the nut on the end of the stabilizer arm link is a 24mm, so you'll need a 24mm socket for that. The bolt that goes through the bottom suspension arm under here, that is an 18mm nut and a 16mm head, so you'll need some odd size spanners and sockets for that. And the Torx bit that holds this bracket on is a Torx, where are we? Oh, it's a Torx, it's a 40. You see that there? It's a 40 star, 40 Torx bit for that. It all came off fairly straightforward. The only one that gave me a bit of a job was this one, which is the end of the stabilizer arm, where the stabilizer arm bolt goes through to here, and that has I think that's a 18 or 19. That might be an 18 as well. Yeah, that's an 18mm nut as well. And in the end of the arm there is supposedly a Torx, but it only lasted, so I got the nut half off and then that rounded off, so I had to get the old mole grips out and grip it around the metal shaft there to hold the stud still to get the rest of it off. But that wasn't too bad. As I say, that was the longest part of the job. So now we've got that free, the nuts off there, so the shaft is free, the bottom arm is free, so now we can pull the arm forward, I think, and free the shock absorber. So let's do that. Right, so that's the first step done. We've pulled all the hub forward, which is released the drive shaft into the bottom of the suspension arm. That has allowed us to have a bit of room at the back here for the shock absorber. You knock you over, guys. So we've got plenty of room there, and because the spring was broken, the spring literally wound itself down the bottom of the shock absorber and came off, which is here. So that's where you can see the top ring's broken off. So that's everything for down here. Now we've got to go up top, and sorry about that, the compressor came on. But what I was going to say now, the operations for down here are all done. Let's say the shock absorber's free. All the pipes are out of the way, so now we've got to go up top. And we've got to remove all this plastic to get to the bolts underneath. So I'll be back when I've got all this off. Right, so we're all apart. So what we had to do was, first of all, we had to take the wiper blade off, which was a 16mm nut, and then we had to use our little windscreen wiper puller. It's only a cheap one, but it done the job, because the wiper was a bit stuck on the shaft and there's no access down there in this, between this little cover here. So that, once that's off, then we unhook this cover and bend that out of the way. And to get this plastic off, there is two 10mm nuts. There's a 10mm nut on that stud there, and a 10mm nut down the back there, and then there's a little Torx 30 bit just down the side that you have to take out. And I also had a little extra piece of insulation held in by a plastic pressing clip, which sat down the side there. And once you've got that out of the way, you can just pull this out. Oh, and there's a little Christmas tree clip on the side of this plastic as well, you have to take off. So then that comes out, and then there's your three securing screws for the top of the shock absorber, which are 13mm by the look of it. Let's just confirm that. Yep, they are 13mm. So we'll take them out, and hopefully it will drop the shock out. We get under here. We'll take that. That one's a bit tight. it's supposed to come out or not. Yeah, it is. Right, just bear with me a second. Let's get in there with a bit of a bigger hammer. Right, so after a bit of beating with a hammer and a bit of WD-40, it's all out. And as you can see, that one was pretty well corroded in the hole. Another one. That's corroded around the mounting. These two weren't too bad, they were nice and clean. So we'll clean all that up before we put it back together. See, it all looks nice and clean up there. But I don't know whether you can see. It is a bit corroded up there. So we'll clean all that up. So now in preparation for the new spring, which we haven't got yet, we should go and take this top mount off. Ooh. And take the top off. So we're going to do that next. Alright, so the nut's off of there. It's a 16mm nut. You can buy special tools that go over it. So you've got a centerpiece that holds the shaft, and then you can unwind the nut. But I tried whizzing it off with an air gun, but because it's so free, because there's no spring tension, I just had to use a pair of mould grips on the top of the shaft, because it's got two flats on there, and then just a 16mm spanner, rip that off, and that just comes off the top. That's all corroded, so we'll give that a clean up before we put it back. And then you've just got your boot, and that can stay on there. That ain't going to go anywhere, because that is the top cup. That is part of the top cup, so the spring sits on there. So we'll take that off. That's it. Then where's the other bit that fell out? Oh, the other bit that fell out was just this piece of rubber. And that just sits around there, I would imagine. But you probably get that on the spring, but if not, we'll soon put that back. But that's what the bottom of the spring sits on. You can see where the end of the spring was. Right, so that's all we can do for today. It's all out. Just got to be cleaned up. So just to make sure that you know what tools you need. We'll start off with, you need a 13mm socket, a 16mm socket, a 17mm socket, 18mm, 19mm, 24mm, 35mm, and then spanners you can get away with 10mm, you need an 18mm and a 16mm. Then Torx bits, you need a Torx 40 and a small Torx 30, and a variety of hammers, pry bars, screwdrivers, wire brushes, air tools, WD-40 most important, and that's it. Right, a little bit of bonus footage. It's still Sunday evening, hasn't gone to Monday yet. I've cleaned the top of the shock absorber off, give that a nice coat of paint, stop that going rusty again. And the top mount, I've given a nice wire brush off, cleaned all that off. Got rid of all the crusties and gave that a coat of WD-40. That should help slow that down again. All I've got to do in the morning when I get the spring is clean underneath that strut top. Good morning guys, it's Monday morning, another bright and sunny day up here in Lincolnshire. I was looking at the car this morning and I noticed another job that we've got to do. So let me take you over there and show you what we got. Right, so this is how we left the car yesterday. Sorry for the glare, it's all a bit bright and sunny here today. The bottom suspension arm bush, I did notice, I don't know whether you can see it, is it too dark under there? Let me go around the other side, see if we can get about. Right, if you can see that bottom bush under there, that is a pressed in rubber bush, and this is like totally shot. Didn't notice that when I took it off yesterday. So when I went down the parts place this morning to get my spring, I also got this little bad boy. The spring wasn't in stock, by the way. I've got to go, I'm getting the spring delivered this afternoon about 2:30. So it gives us a chance to fit this. So this is a press-in bush with a steel casing, rubber insert. So that will be pressed in there. So what we've got to do is to press this one out that way and then press the new one in. So I think what we'll do first of all is we'll clean this area up here. We'll cut this bush out, and then we'll get the bush pressing tool and we'll press this bad boy in. So I'll be back in a minute. Alright, if you can see there, I've cleaned that all up, got all the crusties. You can see where the inner part of the bush is there, which has got to be pressed out that way. And on the other side, well, this is in it's a bit of a job to see, but you've got the big lip there which goes against the arm, so the bush has to come out this way. So what we'll do to start with is I'll knock this centre bit out, which is all loose and flobby, and then I'll get a hacksaw, we'll cut through the casing, and then we'll just push that out. Alright, that bush is well fixed in there. I can't knock that out. So what we're going to do is going to press the whole thing out with the press kit. So we're going to have one cup on one side to receive the bush, a smaller cup on the near side to push it out with a forcing screw. So let me get that set up and then I'll be back. Right, we're set up as best we can at the moment. I've got my press tool in there, got the smaller one on there and the bigger cup on there. Now I've got to do is wind the two together and hopefully push that bush out. Here it comes. As far as my spacer goes, let's wind that back out. It should be near enough out. And there you can see the bush is half, well, 3/4 of the way out. Ow! That was sharp. Right, let's just see if we can knock it out the rest of the way. Back in a sec, guys. Right, I cut the taps of the hammer later, and the old one is out. It's all crusty and muddied, and the new one has got to be pressed in the same way. So first of all, I'm going to clean up the hole, and I'm just going to press this in the same way that I pressed the other one out. You put a cup around here to push it in, and then you have a slightly bigger receiving cup this end, although it's not going to come through. It's only this part that comes through. This part ends up flush. Yeah, right, I'll be back in a moment. Right, all nicely cleaned up with a bit of emery paper. Got rid of any burrs in there. So now I'm just going to press the new bush back in. Right, so 10 minutes later. Don't know whether you can see that, it's a bit bright under here. But we've got a nice new bush under there. Let's see if I can shield it a bit. There we go. Nice new bush. Solid as a rock. And that lip is up to that face. And on the other side, it just protrudes slowly a little bit out the arm there. Right, so there you go, guys. That is how you remove a shock absorber from a Peugeot 407 from the front end. I was going to film changing the spring on the strut itself, but that is just basically compressing a spring with the spring compressors changing over. You've all seen that 1,000 times. And then I was going to film the installation, but again, the installation is just the reversal of removal. So if you can work out how to take it off, then you can work out how to put it on. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.